There's a silent epidemic happening right now, not just in older adults, but especially in those over 60. People are losing muscle mass rapidly, and they think it's just aging. They assume it's normal to become weak, tired, slow, or frail. But what if I told you that this decline isn't inevitable? What if I told you that your body still holds the blueprint for strength, vitality, and regeneration? It just needs the right signal to activate it again. For decades, we've been told that protein is the key to rebuilding muscle, but protein is just the raw material, the bricks, so to speak. The real magic happens when you ignite the cellular machinery that tells your body it's time to grow again. And one of the most overlooked switches for this process is magnesium, a simple, essential mineral that over 70% of adults over 60 are deficient in. That deficiency is not just costing you strength, it's aging you at the cellular level. Magnesium plays a central role in over 300 enzymatic reactions in the body, including the synthesis of ATP, the energy currency that powers every muscle contraction and recovery. Without magnesium, your muscle cells can't regenerate, they can't recover, they can't grow. Think about that for a moment. You could be eating high-quality protein, even exercising regularly, and still not rebuilding muscle if magnesium isn't present to activate those recovery processes. What makes this more dangerous is that magnesium deficiency often goes unnoticed. The symptoms, fatigue, poor sleep, weakness, cramps, are easily written off as just getting older, but they are signs of a deeper malfunction. Your body isn't recovering. It's stuck in a cycle of breakdown with no resources to rebuild. There's a neural component here too. Muscle loss is not just about muscles. It starts in the brain and nervous system. The older we get, the more we see a disconnection between the motor cortex, spinal cord, and muscle fibers. Magnesium plays a vital role in neuromuscular signaling. Without enough magnesium, the electrical impulses that tell your muscles to fire and grow are dampened. The signal becomes fuzzy. Your body stops investing in maintaining muscle tissue because the demand seems low. And here's the really wild part. Once you restore magnesium levels, something amazing happens. Sleep quality improves. Growth hormone increases during deep sleep. Inflammation starts to decrease. Your body begins to re-enter what I call anabolic recovery mode. This is when the repair mechanisms are turned back on, when the genes responsible for muscle synthesis are reactivated. Most people are trying to build muscle in the wrong physiological environment. They're working out, eating protein, but living in a state of chronic inflammation, poor sleep, and low magnesium. That's like trying to build a skyscraper during an earthquake. Magnesium calms the nervous system by increasing GABA levels, which helps induce deep, restorative sleep. And it reduces cortisol, the catabolic hormone that breaks muscle down. So with adequate magnesium, your body can actually shift gears from breakdown into growth, from stress into repair, from aging into rejuvenation. But not all magnesium is the same. Some forms pass right through your system with little effect. The best forms for neuromuscular health are magnesium glycinate for relaxation and recovery, magnesium threonate for brain health, and magnesium citrate to support digestion and absorption. The protocol is simple, but the impact is profound. A daily dose of bioavailable magnesium, timed correctly around your circadian rhythm, paired with resistance movement and protein. That's when you begin to see changes. Not in months, but in days and weeks. Muscle starts coming back, strength returns, the nervous system becomes sharp again, and most importantly, your body feels alive, because it is. Tidne, Kopayoku, Pichihati, Maladar, Amaku, Ditki, Nainek. The decline you thought was inevitable, it was just a deficiency in the wrong signal. Restore that signal and you rebuild muscle fast. even after 60, even after years of decline. Because the blueprint never left you. It was just waiting to be reactivated. We often associate muscle loss with the passage of time, as if getting older means getting weaker by default. But that's not the full truth. Muscle deterioration after 60 isn't just aging, it's the result of biological systems being starved of the signals they need to keep growing. Your body is incredibly adaptive, even in your 60s, 70s, and beyond. What we're beginning to understand, thanks to emerging science, is that your nervous system and muscle fibers remain capable of regeneration when given the right tools. One of the most overlooked and powerful of those tools is magnesium. Forget everything you've been told about protein being the key to muscle recovery. Protein is important, yes, but it's passive. It just sits there, waiting to be used. It doesn't do anything unless your body has the biochemical spark to activate it. That spark is magnesium. This mineral is a cofactor in over 300 enzymatic processes, but its role in ATP production, cellular energy, is absolutely central to rebuilding muscle. No ATP, no energy. No energy, no muscle activation. That's not just theory, it's physiology. Most people over 60 are deficient in magnesium, and it's not just because of diet. Soil depletion, chronic stress, medications, and aging gut absorption all contribute. And the signs are subtle: muscle cramps, poor sleep, low energy, weakened grip, brain fog. These are all signals that your body is not recovering, not rebuilding. In other words, magnesium deficiency is a silent block to growth. Your muscles are capable, your brain is willing, but your system doesn't have the raw material to carry out the orders. Even worse, when magnesium levels drop, cortisol levels tend to rise. Cortisol is a catabolic hormone. It breaks down tissue. And high cortisol doesn't just prevent muscle growth, it directly triggers muscle wasting, especially in older adults. This is why stressed individuals or poor sleepers often see accelerated loss of strength. Magnesium doesn't just assist in muscular repair, it reduces cortisol, calms the nervous system, and creates a hormonal environment where rebuilding is possible. Magnesium also increases GABA, a calming neurotransmitter that helps the brain enter deep sleep, the same stages of sleep where most growth hormone is released. That's why those who take the right form of magnesium before bed not only sleep better, they actually begin to repair faster. Deep sleep isn't just rest, it's recovery at the cellular level, and magnesium helps turn the key to that door. Now let's go deeper. You don't just lose muscle because you aren't lifting weights or eating enough protein. You lose it because your nervous system isn't sending strong enough signals to the muscles to say, stay alive, stay strong. Magnesium enhances this neural firing. It optimizes communication between the brain, spinal cord, and muscle fibers. This neuromuscular connection is the command center for strength. If it falters, the body assumes the muscle isn't needed and it lets it wither. But when you restore this connection, even lightly, with resistance movement and proper nutrition, especially magnesium, you reawaken dormant tissue. It's like flipping on the lights in a darkened building. The architecture was always there, it just needed power. But let's be clear, not all magnesium is created equal. The form you take matters. Magnesium oxide, the most common form found in cheap supplements, has very low bioavailability. It barely gets absorbed. The forms that actually work are magnesium glycinate for calm and recovery, magnesium threonate for cognitive function and neuromuscular signaling, and magnesium citrate for digestion and energy metabolism. When taken consistently and in alignment with your body's circadian rhythm, morning to activate, evening to repair, magnesium starts to rebuild muscle from the inside out. So what does this mean for you? It means muscle loss is not your destiny. Frailty is not a fixed condition. Weakness is not a sentence you must accept. It means you still have tools within your reach. not expensive medications, not extreme workouts, but elemental nutrition that reactivates your biology. Rebuilding muscle after 60 is about sending the right signals. And magnesium is one of the most powerful signals your body has been missing. Reintroduce it, and you reintroduce strength, stability, and cellular youth. Not someday, but starting now. The story we've been told about aging is incomplete. Most people believe that losing muscle after 60 is inevitable, that it's just part of growing old. But modern science is showing something very different. The muscle loss we associate with aging isn't caused solely by time. It's caused by signal failure, a breakdown in communication between the brain, the muscles, and the nutrients that rebuild them. This means that muscle loss isn't a life sentence. It's a solvable problem. And one of the most powerful yet overlooked solutions is not a high-protein shake or a new workout program. It's magnesium. While protein has been marketed as the ultimate muscle builder, it's only one piece of the puzzle. Protein is the raw material, but magnesium is the activator. Without it, your body cannot convert protein into usable muscle tissue. Without it, your neuromuscular system remains dormant, and the signals to rebuild, even after exercise, are weak or absent. This mineral fuels more than 300 enzyme-driven processes in the body, many of which are directly tied to energy metabolism, cellular repair, inflammation regulation, and neuromuscular function. Most importantly, magnesium plays a vital role in the production of ATP, your body's main energy source. Think about that. Your body literally cannot fuel the machinery that drives muscle growth unless magnesium is present. And here's the alarming truth. Nearly 3 out of every 4 adults over 60 are deficient in magnesium. This is a silent epidemic. Magnesium deficiency often hides behind symptoms that are brushed off as just aging. Low energy, tight muscles, poor sleep, sluggish recovery, and general weakness. But these aren't just signs of getting older. They are warning signals from your nervous system that your recovery systems are offline. What's happening under the surface is this. Your nervous system controls your muscles. It sends the signals that tell your body to grow, to repair, to resist degeneration. But magnesium is required to maintain the quality of those signals. As we age, we don't just lose muscle mass, we lose motor neurons. Those are the connections between your brain and your muscle fibers. Magnesium helps preserve those connections by enhancing neuromuscular signaling and reducing oxidative damage. That's why strength training alone is not enough. If the connection between brain and body is weak, the body won't respond. It needs a clear message: grow, rebuild, stay strong. Magnesium helps deliver that message. It turns a flickering signal into a strong command. That's the difference between aging and thriving. But the benefits don't stop at the neuromuscular level. Magnesium also regulates the body's stress response. It brings cortisol levels down, which is absolutely critical because cortisol is catabolic. It breaks down muscle tissue. Chronic stress, poor sleep, and inflammation keep the body in a breakdown state. Magnesium flips that switch. It moves your biology into a recovery mode, what scientists call an anabolic state. This is where the body repairs itself. And it does something else remarkable. It improves sleep quality by increasing GABA levels in the brain. GABA is the neurotransmitter that helps you enter deep non-REM sleep. This matters because deep sleep is when your body produces the most growth hormone, the key hormone for muscle regeneration. So with magnesium, your body doesn't just rest, it rebuilds. You wake up stronger than when you went to bed. This is where healing happens. This is where the clock starts to turn in your favor. And the results can be seen in days and weeks, not months. People who have struggled with weakness, fatigue, and sleep for years begin to feel different. More energy, better workouts, deeper sleep, quicker recovery. Why? Because they're finally addressing the missing link, the mineral that acts as the ignition switch for muscle recovery. When you fix the foundation, everything built on it becomes stronger. And magnesium is that foundation. Now the question becomes, how do you use this information? Because not all magnesium is created equal. You can't grab a generic supplement and expect transformation. The form and timing matter. For restoring muscle and nervous system strength, magnesium glycinate is one of the best options. It's calming, bioavailable, and easy on the stomach. For boosting brain function and neuromuscular performance, magnesium threonate crosses the blood-brain barrier and enhances signal. Magnesium citrate, on the other hand, supports digestion and energy metabolism. The ideal protocol uses these in rotation, depending on your specific needs: calming at night, energizing in the morning, supportive post-exercise. This is not a one-size-fits-all approach. It's a personalized method of reactivating a powerful biological system that's been dormant, not broken, not dead, just waiting. Muscle growth after 60 is real, not just possible, real, but you must support the system that controls it. Exercise matters. Protein matters. But without magnesium, your body remains stuck in neutral. With it, you move into drive. You begin to recover faster, sleep deeper, feel more alert, and grow stronger. From the inside out, the decline people fear with aging isn't destiny. It's often a deficiency, and once that deficiency is corrected, everything begins to change. The body remembers how to thrive, the nervous system begins firing again, and the muscle tissue, even the muscle memory, comes alive. You've probably been told that muscle loss after 60 is a natural part of aging, something you simply have to accept. But what if that wasn't the full story? What if the real reason you're losing muscle isn't age, but a lack of cellular communication? The latest research in muscle biology and neurophysiology reveals that one of the most critical and chronically overlooked causes of age muscle decline is not a protein shortage. It's a breakdown in the systems that convert fuel into functional tissue. And at the center of that breakdown is a single vital mineral, magnesium. Let's be clear, protein is still necessary. It provides the building blocks, but building blocks alone can't create anything. You need a signal, an architect, and energy to start the construction. Magnesium does all three. It supports nerve signaling, regulates inflammation, and powers the ATP that fuels muscle activity and repair. If you're deficient in magnesium, and statistics show over 70% of people over 60 are, then your muscles aren't getting the signal to grow. They're not being energized to move. They're not recovering after stress. Without that signal, even the best nutrition and exercise program can fall flat. We need to shift how we view muscle loss. It's not just about getting older, it's about how your nervous system is aging. The nervous system is the master controller of strength. Each muscle fiber is wired to a nerve, and if that nerve stops firing, the muscle goes offline. Over time, those connections weaken unless they're supported. Magnesium plays a critical role in preserving that connection. It helps maintain the electrical gradient necessary for nerve impulses. It supports neurotransmitter balance, and it reduces the oxidative stress that accelerates neuromuscular degeneration. Without it, the brain begins to forget how to activate the muscles. That's when fatigue, frailty, and muscle atrophy accelerate. But there's another layer here, and that's recovery. After you train your muscles, or even after daily physical exertion like walking or lifting, your body enters a recovery phase. It needs deep sleep, low inflammation, and optimal hormone balance to rebuild. Magnesium supports all three. It increases GABA in the brain, allowing you to reach the deeper stages of non-REM sleep, where the majority of growth hormone is released. It lowers cortisol, the stress hormone that breaks down muscle, and it modulates cytokine activity to reduce chronic inflammation. When you restore magnesium levels, you give your body permission to recover, and recovery is where true strength is built. The problem is, most people don't know they're deficient. They may not even recognize the signs: tight muscles, poor sleep, low energy, irritability, reduced strength, even anxiety. These are often dismissed as just part of aging, but they're red flags. They signal that your recovery systems are offline, and if you don't fix that, you stay in a cycle of degeneration. But when you do fix it, when you replenish your magnesium levels with the right form and timing, the body begins to respond, not in theory, but in very real, measurable ways. Sleep improves, pain decreases, strength begins to return. It's not magic, it's biochemistry done right. And what makes this even more powerful is how quickly the shift can happen. Once magnesium is restored, many people report deeper sleep in just a few days. They wake up with more energy, workouts that once left them sore for days become manageable again. This isn't because magnesium is doing the work alone, it's because it's unlocking the body's own regenerative capabilities. Think of it like flipping on a breaker in a dark house. The structure was never broken, it just lacked electricity. Magnesium is that power source, and the forms that work best: magnesium glycinate for relaxation, threonate for cognitive and neural function, citrate for metabolism, are tools that you can tailor to your personal rhythm. Once you understand that the body isn't breaking down from age alone, but from signal loss, you begin to regain power. Because signals can be restored, connections can be rebuilt, strength can return. The best part, this applies to everyone, even those who have struggled for years. The window is still open. The nervous system is still listening. You just have to send the right message. Magnesium is that message. Not hype, not theory, but a proven trigger that reawakens growth, resilience, and power, even after 60. There is a widely accepted myth that muscle loss after 60 is just part of the natural aging process, that it's irreversible and inevitable. But that belief is not rooted in current science. Yes, muscle tissue thins over time. Yes, strength declines. But what we now understand is that the capacity to rebuild, regenerate, and grow muscle remains deeply intact well into your 60s, 70s, and even beyond. What changes is the environment inside your body. It's not age that stops the rebuilding. It's the gradual breakdown of communication between the brain, nervous system, and muscles. That communication, those signals, are powered by nutrients, and one mineral in particular acts as a gatekeeper: magnesium. This is not a nice-to-have supplement. This is a fundamental control switch for energy, movement, and regeneration. Magnesium doesn't just support muscle, it drives the biochemical reactions required for ATP production, which is the energy source your cells use for everything, including muscle contraction and repair. If ATP is the battery, magnesium is the charging cable. Without enough magnesium, even your protein intake is underutilized. It just sits idle. The nervous system lacks fuel. The muscles remain inactive. The recovery mechanisms go quiet. This is why many people over 60 can follow a strength program, eat clean, and still struggle to gain muscle. Their recovery system is simply not turned on. Magnesium is the mineral that flips the switch. And what's concerning is that due to aging, medications, stress, and poor soil quality, up to 75% of adults over 60 are running on empty when it comes to magnesium. The signs are often subtle: muscle cramps, joint stiffness, insomnia, anxiety, fatigue, poor digestion, or just the constant sense that your energy is off. We often write these off as aging symptoms, but they're actually deficiency symptoms. And if you address them with the right intervention, something powerful happens. Your body starts to reawaken. The nervous system gets sharper, sleep deepens, recovery accelerates, and muscle, even if it's been gone for years, begins to come back. This isn't hype, it's how the body works. It has not forgotten how to build muscle. It has simply been missing one of the tools to do it effectively, and the brain plays a massive role in that process. The relationship between your brain and your muscles is electrical. The motor cortex sends signals through the spinal cord to the muscles, telling them to activate, contract, and grow stronger. That system depends on clarity and speed, on accurate signals, and magnesium plays a critical role in stabilizing those signals. It keeps calcium in check, prevents spasms, and supports neurotransmitters that control motor function. When magnesium is deficient, the signal between brain and muscle becomes sluggish. The brain might still be asking the body to grow stronger, but the message never gets through. That's when muscle begins to shrink, not because you've stopped using it, but because the body stops investing in it. Restore that signal and strength begins to return. But even with that, recovery is where the real transformation happens. Your workouts tear muscle tissue, that's a fact. But the rebuilding, the growth, happens in the hours and days that follow, especially during deep sleep. This is when the body releases the most growth hormone, repairs tissues, clears inflammation, and restocks energy reserves. Magnesium is the nutrient that allows this phase to happen. It calms the brain by supporting GABA, your body's most powerful relaxation neurotransmitter. It lowers cortisol, the stress hormone that blocks recovery. It reduces systemic inflammation, and it keeps the nervous system from going into hyperdrive at night. The result? You don't just fall asleep easier, you heal faster. Night after night. That is the hidden key to lasting strength, consistent recovery. But it only works when you choose the right form of magnesium, because not all forms are created equal. Magnesium oxide is poorly absorbed. Magnesium sulfate can upset the gut. What actually works for muscle recovery and nervous system regulation is a strategic combination. Magnesium glycinate, which relaxes the body and supports muscle recovery. Magnesium threonate, which crosses the blood-brain barrier and improves neural function. And magnesium citrate, which helps maintain digestive flow and energy metabolism. The dosage matters. The timing matters. Take glycinate in the evening to enhance sleep and healing. Use threonate earlier in the day to support mental clarity and neuromuscular communication. With the right rhythm, your body begins to resync itself. The nervous system starts firing again. The muscles begin to respond again. And your biology shifts out of breakdown mode into rebuild mode. This is the true opportunity after 60, not just to maintain muscle, but to actually reverse years of decline. When magnesium becomes a daily, deliberate part of your health routine, the body has what it needs to build again. And this is where it all comes together. You may be 60, 70, even 80, but your body still knows how to adapt. It still holds the blueprint for strength. The nervous system still listens. The muscle fibers still respond. All they need is the signal, and magnesium is that signal. It's not just a supplement, it's an activation, an ignition switch for your recovery, strength, and longevity. And once it's flipped on, the path forward becomes clear. Stronger bones, more stable joints, greater endurance, deeper sleep, a better mind, and a body that finally feels like it's on your side again.